Welcome, everyone. I am very much looking forward to this evening for because it's a very special evening. We get to spend the night going behind the scenes at Elmwood and see what it takes to actually have a play come to fruition. I just want to do some clerical things. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. And at the end of each segment, I will check them and ask the questions. And also, will you stay to the end because we have a prize to give from one of our wonderful sponsors. I'm going to turn it over to Allison. Hi, Allison.
Debbie, how are you?
Good. Looking forward to tonight.
Yes, we're very excited. Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Costello. I am a member on the board of directors here at ELMWOOD Playhouse. I'm here with B. Pohl, who is one of our wonderful members. First of all, we'd just like to thank you very much and the Rockland Arts Festival for having us. It's been very exciting to plan this, and we're looking forward to sharing our beautiful theater with you all tonight. So before we get started, I just like to say, like I said, I'm Allison Costello. I'm on the board, and we're really excited because we have a special treat for you tonight. We're here to take you behind the scenes of what it takes to put a production up here at ELMWOOD Playhouse. Hopefully, some of you have been to a production here and have seen our shows, but if not, after tonight, you will definitely want to call the box office or go to our website, which will give you at the end, to get your tickets for the shows that we have coming up here. So we have been around since 1947. It's hard to believe it's been that long. It started as a church. We have a great video, which we can't get to you, but we'll post it somewhere for everybody to see. And so we started it as a church in 1947, and we acquired different properties as the years went on. In 2013, we renovated our beautiful space, and it is an absolutely magnificent theater that you'll all get to see. So we have our beautifully renovated lobby. We've been very excited to be featuring some of the Nyack Art Collective paintings, which are hung prominently in our lobby for everyone to look at and to purchase during our main stage productions. That's been really a wonderful addition to our main stage shows and really adds a lot to our lobby. We have some wonderful community partnerships that we've acquired over the years, whether that be Music for Life, creative therapy, which we partner with. It's an organization which works with adults, teens, and children with a variety of challenges. And we host many of their events here, and we also do main stage productions with them. We're having our second this summer, which is going to be Shrek. Oh, we also do some wonderful programs like our Sundays at 7 program, which is a one-night only event where we encourage people, musicians and artists and performers to come and showcase their talents for a one-night performance. And we also have some wonderful workshop opportunities, which Bee's going to talk about a little. Bee has really taken advantage of our workshop program to the point where she's got some exciting things coming up in the future. So, Bee, you want to talk about the workshop program and how it's helped you develop some of your work?
Yeah, the directors, Derek Carson and Mike Eden, are so supportive of someone like me, a community playwright. I did a workshop back in December for a play that I wrote called Paren. And it helps you to develop it, to, see the different nuances. They give you a critique. We had an audience. The audience gave us feedback. And now, since I've redone the whole play, it's been, I've been invited to bring that play and others to the Scotland Fringe Festival, which is a big deal for me.
Big deal in general.
A big deal in general, yes. And we're going to be at Summer Hall in August, doing plays almost every day. But to me, it's like such an experience as a writing playwright to be able to do something like this. So I have to thank ELMWOOD Playhouse for giving me the opportunity to just try my stuff out on them to present. So it's been really, really fabulous. I have to say that. They are a community theatrical family. So once you're part of it, they'll support you through from the beginning
to the end, and we don't let go. Never let go. Never let. Yeah, so and it's been wonderful to see Bee's work grow so much over the years too. We also have other programs like our school reading series and our public domain players, which we take plays on and do play readings so that we can hear new and old work. And actually, there's one coming up this Saturday. So if anyone would like to hear the reading of POTUS, which was newly off of Broadway, we're doing that at 11 o'clock on Saturday. You can find the information on our website. Also, it's free to come, and they're a lot of fun. There's also bagels. So we feed you here too. So so that should be really fun too. We're starting up a program called the Actors Playground also, which we're inviting members to come and just flex their acting and performing muscles and just kind of work out a little bit because we don't always get the opportunity to do that. So those are some of our community involvement opportunities that we offer and are really proud of. So now we're going to get to the. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Are there any questions about that? Yeah.
The question was that it was actually I'm glad to be here. So
Yeah.
Margaret Young is saying she's glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Margaret. Yes. All right, so now we're gonna take you behind the scenes of our upcoming main stage production of Fun Home. We're gonna take you into the theater actually, where you're not gonna see Fun Home yet, but you will see our main stage production of Italian American Reconciliation. The set for that show is up, and that closes this coming weekend. But on the set we have set designer and the chairperson of our set design and construction committee, Rob Ward. And we have the director of Fun Home, Claudia Stephanie. So obviously this is the set for Italian American Reconciliation. Maybe some of you have seen it, hopefully you have. If not, closes this weekend. But Rob is designing the next show, Fun Home. And Rob, we just wanted to kind of get a sense of how did you come to become the designer for Fun Home?
Well, Claudia and I have worked together 5 times. We did the math earlier, 5 times. 4 as a designer, and T did another show that she directed. And I like working with her. She always puts together a great show, very painless, and she lets designers be designers. So this show itself, Fun Home, is a really interesting musical. It's going to be a great piece of work.
And that leads me to my next question. So right now, the stage is set up in a proscenium style, which is the audience, the typical audience is out in the house, and we have the stage here, and it's performed on the stage. But Fun Home, we're mixing things up a little bit. Ideas for the set designer for Fun Home?
Right. So when Claudia and I were first talking about the show, as I was reading through it, the house itself plays a very, very important part in the show. It's almost like another character of the show. And we wanted to try to convey that to the audience, but we also wanted to kind of invite the audience in to be sort of on top of the action. So we have the white model that we did for the set here. So this area up in the back, that's our existing set of risers. You want to shoot out there. Those are the seats that are all the way up in the back there. So what we're doing basically is right along this line is where the existing stage is currently set. And our stage is modular in nature because at its heart, Elmwood is considered a black box theater. So we kind of get to move stuff around to suit a director's taste or whatever the show might require. So what we've done is we're going to put seating on either side of what we're sort of referring to as the runway. So we have a performing space that's roughly about 13 feet wide and about 30 feet deep. It's going to have a painted floor. You can sort of see the line work on the floor. So it's almost like you're going to be looking at the floor of the house through the outside foundation walls. And all of that is just going to be painted detail on the deck. So there's no real walls per se. within the set. The big piece is the house at the end of the alley here. And so this is made up of a series of flats, because we have a lot of stock flats here. We love stock flats. It's made up of a series of flats. We have a couple of window boxes, the double window down here and the single window upstairs. And we have a lot of the stuff downstairs in the shop that we're going to look at in a moment. But this whole house is going to be pushed off what is the existing back wall of space right now, about 9 inches or so.
And that the stage is gone as well.
Yes,
I think that's the
that's
biggest,
yeah, that's the big thing.
completely gone, as everyone knows.
We are going to remove our entire deck to do this show. But the deck comes apart in lots of pieces, and hopefully so easy. Hopefully it will be a painless process. But yeah, we're going to remove our entire existing deck and do the show right on the theater house floor. I think it's going to allow everybody to really be on top of the action and to really be a part of the story.
That's really exciting. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Are there any questions that anybody has about this?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Far enough.
We're gonna take you down to the shop and see what Rob and his crew have been working on, which is really cool. So. So this is ELMWOOD's workshop. There's a lot of action during the day.
Want to talk a little about how it's been renovated?
Oh, and it hasn't renovated. Rob has done an incredible job of organizing and cleaning out this place. I'm not a technical person, and for me to come down here and be able to find something by looking at the drawers because they're labeled so beautifully is quite a feat. So that's thanks to Rob and his amazing volunteers and sure that help every day. So.
Yeah, we should say that over the past 18 months or so, we've got quite an influx of new volunteers down here, and it's been fantastic. And we're gonna show you some of their work. I mean, I do some of the building, but for the most part, I try just to be the designer and to get other folks to do my bidding. So sometimes it's wishful thinking. But this is the upper portion of the house that we're going to have in the show. So this point up here, well, it's only about 8 feet off the ground right now, ultimately is going to be 16 feet in the air. So this is going to be a 12-foot wide by 16-foot tall structure that we're basically going to have up against the back wall here. James Gardner, who's our lighting designer, who you're going to get to talk with in a moment. James and I are talking about all these different ways where we can actually allow the house to sort of become a character. So what James is doing for us is he's installing a lot of LED strips. He's going to go into detail on that. But this is that upper window that you saw in the model. This is going to have the light box, which you can kind of see here. So it's basically just a 5-inch deep box, but we're going to be able to put lights in there. It's much wider and much taller than the window. So nobody really should be able to see the source, but we should get an awful lot of color in that opening. The larger box here is for the double window, which you can see the back of if you turn around. Everything is sort of in progress here, waiting to go. But getting back to the house, so these were all cut off a template with a router. We threw out the template. The boys cut it out. They came back and they routed all the shapes. So we've got a nice fish scale motif going on up at the top. We've got the shiplap, and all of this is just 1/4-inch Luan material that we're doing all of this out of. But we've got this great gingerbread trim that runs along both edges of the roof. And I'm very excited. This was the first day that we got to see the LEDs in there. I'm really excited with the way it looks. And I think it's just going to be fantastic. And so in addition to the very talented people that we have building stuff here, we also have lots of talented people who And so this is, you can sort of see it in the model. But this is actually the chimney, it's the line that's going directly onto the back wall. So this is going to sit about 6 inches behind the back face here. So basically what we're doing is we're giving a lot of different levels of back to the back wall. All in the intent to really give the house a life of its own. And where the character in the show. But you know, as I said, oh, and then so we also had a couple of little things that came in at the last minute to do. We had the boys put together this lovely table for the side of the sofa. It's still in its raw form, it hasn't been tasted yet. And then because of the way the show is structured, and there's a lot of stuff coming in and out, just about everything in the show is wheeled. And this is the drafting table or the studio table that Allison uses. This was also built by the boy. And yeah.
Lots of ways.
They do really good stuff.
We do.
Yeah, it's I have to say it's a great group of folks who will be coming down here. Very excited. And so we also have this small. We found this stand. There's a scene in the show where we're actually inside the family's funeral home, and there's going to be a directory on this, but it needed to get on the stage and off the stage. So you can tell it's just wired on for the time being, which allows you to pick it up and not have to worry about losing the page. And it's just got a couple of simple captures.
Because I don't know if we talked about this, but you walk into the lobby for fun time, it will be as if you are walking into the Bechdel funeral home parlor. So there will be the sofa that will be in the show, and that will be in the lobby as well with Bechdel funeral home and the hours on. And we will have lovely sprays of funereal flowers, thanks to our New City Connection florist. So yeah, we've got some fun, exciting things for you to see.
Now, one of the things that Claudia and I spoke about, talking about the show, is being able to immerse the audience in the show. So much of the stuff that we're focusing on this particular show is to allow the audience to really feel like they're part of what's going on, not that they're just spectators.
And you introduced someone earlier.
Yeah, this is my friend James.
Yay.
James is the lighting designer for the show.
Hello. And this show kind of provides a lot of, because we're Rob's set design, where the stage is almost twice as big as what we normally have here. And so it's going to provide a lot more area to have to light. Rob can, when Rob does something, he gets to do a drawing and he gets to see what it's actually going to look like. And then you see the table that he was just showing you. Lighting design is different from costumes or scenery. There is no, you can't, light is ethereal and it's not possible to like dimension it or put it in a box and bring it out for the next show. So every show is different. And every show is now these days stored on a computer light board, and the stage manager calls the cues as needed for the show as the show goes along. So one scene might be bright, the next scene might be dim, the next scene might just be one little down pool for her to be or him to be in. And so the problem with lighting is that it is, there's nothing you can really touch. So when we first start thinking about that, what will the lighting look like? Of course, the first and foremost is the script. And then once the script is written, and some playwrights actually say, like, put light cues in at the end of an act, they'll say blackout. And so you get a little bit of a clue there. But most of the time you have to talk to Claudia, the director, and Rob, and say, so what's our vision here? And we try to come up with a collaborative idea of what we want to do. And so, of course, the most important thing in lighting design is people want to see actors' faces. I don't know why, but it kind of adds to the show when you can see an actor face and what he's emoting and how, of course, the scenery is lit, so you can have the best scene design and the best costumes and the best acting. If they're terribly lit, it's not, it can detract from the show. So my goal is to make it so that you're not sitting there going, yeah, I wish I could see his face, or I don't know what's going on there. But we also then, after the script, you know, and talking, the lighting designer has to decide, okay, is it going to be hard edged? Is it going to be soft edged? Is it going to be colorful? Is it going to be monotone? Is it going to be full of what we call gobos, which are a way to break up the light, so it's not just a one solid light, it's broken up. And all that fits into also what kind of color do we want? What are the angles going to be? People that are, when you're just lit from the front with one light, look very flat and one-dimensional. So you want to add in some backlight, say, or some downlight, or something for more dramatic. You could do diagonal backlight. And that all adds up to what hopefully will look like a good show. Once we have all that, the lighting designer does a light plot. This is not a light plot, but he does do it. There is a visual representation so that I know when I come into the theater that I'm going to hang, you know, what are called Ricos, the Fresnels, or the park hands, and that's what we start with. And then we sit down with Claudia on tech day, and we say, all right, let's start with Q1.
One of my favorite things, when you get to see what it all looks like. I think of it as like the jewelry on an already beautiful outfit. It's just that yeah.
Comes together and makes it.
And it feels real.
And if you would touch on the LEDs very quickly, because I'm really jazzed about them.
Yeah.
So this so because Rob did go to all this trouble to make the gingerbread, we wanted to have it so that it's difficult to get light behind something. And so we wanted to add something that would highlight the work that he did here. And we can actually use different colors. Right now it's a blue or a light lavender. For maybe if it's outside and it's a tree scene, well, maybe we'll use green, or maybe we'll use, like, definitely during some of the exciting musical numbers, we're gonna flash and trash and make it, you know, dance. And we're gonna make it so that it, you know, becomes, because we don't have a lot of scenery, that the lighting adds the ambiance to the scene that we're working on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James. Are there any questions about all
Sure,
of
there
this?
was a practical question. The question was, will you still be able to have the same number of seats for the audience with the way you're structuring this play?
Yes, and we had a double check that a couple of times. Yeah, the goal is to always have 99 seats on the floor. And when we did the reconfiguration, we could actually get, I think we could get 102 seats on the floor. So we pulled 3 seats out. We can get a couple of musicians out on the floor as well. That's going to be
kind of exciting.
that's gonna be cool,
The violinist and the cellist are actually going to be on the stage, so you will be able to see them as well. So you're going to be able to see our musicians up and behind, but they will definitely, those two are going to be on the stage. So that's going to be something that's a little bit more, that's an exciting thing, I think.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then I just got a question. They wanted to know what was the most challenging part on one of your productions, like what was the most challenging set design issue in recent productions?
Okay, so yeah, so recent production wise, when we did Sunday in the Park with George, which I think was back in 2016, that was a very, very scenery heavy, complicated set. The scenic painting on the set alone took hundreds of hours. And, you know, we lost track of how many hours we spent working on the set for that show when we got up to around 1,000 hours.
Yeah, it was insane.
And it's quite a lot to think about when you realize that everybody's here because we're all crazy and we love theater. And, you know, this is how we get our kicks. you know, 1,000 hours of labor is an awful lot. Right now on this show, I think we're up around 300 or so, but we haven't really started even pulling the deck out yet. That's gonna take a lot of time.
But it's Sunday in the Park because of the scenic painting involved, and that was a labor of love by Chantal Bourgeois and Wendy Portney. The two of them were like instrumental in doing like dot 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 dot, and they did it dot 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 that whole front
pointillism, the whole,
drop,
yeah.
and then the whole other one that was half done. That was spectacular what they did.
Yeah, and we had trees that moved, and we had buildings that slid in and out, a sailboat
Oh,
here,
and,
the
yeah,
dog,
the soldier.
the
yeah.
umbrella that came down.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, tech wise, that was.
I think
that
one
was
of the
a big
paintings
show.
Yeah, the
in
painting
there,
is
yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
No, the cast will be surprised if we walk in right now.
We'll
because they're
definitely
working,
go
they're
in the
working
other
on
room.
stuff,
We'll
yeah.
point it out.
We'll point it
Well,
out, yeah.
We just want to let you know we're doing this, but there's also a rehearsal going on next door. in,
Yes.
Parsons.
Yeah, two rehearsals because the
Yeah.
play that goes
Oh, yes.
wrong,
Yes.
which
Well,
is the next
we are,
show.
we are ready to go anywhere you wish to take us.
Okay, well,
Fantastic.
thank you so much, Rob and James. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're gonna go and see our costume designer, Janet Fenton, in our green room backstage area. This is not our costume shop or costume room. Our costume room is a gigantic loft area on the other side of the theater, which if we took you there, it would blow your mind. Number one, how organized it is. And number two, how many incredible costumes we have. But this is our costume, one of our costume designers, Janet Fenton. She is the designer of Fun Home. And so Janet, can you just tell us a little bit, about your vision for Fun Home and how you came up with it, and how you came up with the design choice?
Well, usually when I'm costuming a show, the first thing I do is go to the source, which is the script. But Claudia had encouraged me very early on to actually read Alison Bechdel's memoir. And it is just chock full of ideas because I'm just making sure I'm not pulling something really disgusting. Okay. For the general audience. Anyway, her drawings are very detailed, and you can get a clear feeling for what that family wore in the early 70s, the 80s, and the early 80s. So it made it pretty easy. Plus, I was an adult during the 70s, and I have a really good recollection of what people wore. More than what they wore was how things were constructed. So I will deal with that a little bit later. But I read the book and I did take notes as I went along. And then I went to the script. Now the script is different from the book in many ways. There are things in the script that are not in the book. And there are things that are in the book that are not in the script. So when I get a script, I read it first for the gist, just to get a feel for the show. The second time I read it through, I check to see if there are any specific costume notes for each of the characters. Sometimes playwrights will add things like, oh, they need a jacket, or he grabs his jacket and walks out, or he tosses his hat over in the corner, or she removes her apron. So those kinds of things. But then I continue reading it, and I continue reading it for some character development, but then lastly, to figure out how many costumes I need for these people, and then what the track is when they put things on, how much time there is in between. And that way I'm able to see how many quick changes there are, how many people I need backstage, and those kinds of things, nuts and bolts kind of.
So these costumes that are here are for a specific number? Is that?
Well, there are different costumes here. Okay. So I did allude to the fact that it's 1973 for part of the show. And in 1973, I would say probably 98% of the clothes in this country were manufactured here. So things were made with pride for the union label. And so things like plaids met at the seam line. They did not go askew. Stripes met at the seam. I'm hoping let's get a good one. Let's not mess it up. So stripes met at the seam line. And if you go to thrift stores, you're not going to find that. The seams are like this. Also, if you want to get vintage clothing, it's very expensive. And we have a limited budget. We're a small theater. So what I did is I found online some sources for fabric that to me reminded me of things I would have worn in the 70s. And this piece, this fabric I found, I want to say in November, and I just held it. We looked to see if we could find something that we wouldn't have to build, wouldn't have to pay for, but that didn't happen. And because I no longer have patterns for these, I threw them out about 6 months ago. I was cleaning up.
You made these beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
This
So-
is like it's blowing my mind.
So, yeah, so what I did is I measured the girls and I found t-shirts that were close fitting and learned a new skill on how to copy a t-shirt on tracing paper and then using that as a pattern for the shirts. Now, the other thing is you need, when you're doing stretch fabric, you need to know that there's a certain like percentage of stretch, and this happens to have a 50% stretch. So I need to go down a size rather than up a size.
There's math involved.
So there's a lot of math.
Yeah.
Yeah, costume design is a lot of
A
math.
lot of math.
The other thing I had, the vision I had was that all of the Allisons would be in reds. And then nobody else would. I sort of cut my nose off despite my favorite of that decision, but we're working through it. So we've double cast the little Allisons. So these are their signature shirts with a pair of jeans. Talk about that in a minute. And then middle Allison is just in a striped shirt with a collar.
Our college girl.
Our college girl.
That's right.
And then we have adult Allison. Now in this, I actually ordered this shirt because I had, again, a clear vision. I wanted it to have contrasting bands on the arms and the neck. And the only one I could get was red. It was sort of fire engine red. So I overgot it in muted brown so that it kind of took down the color and made it more maroon. I was talking to you about jeans. So all the kids except for John are wearing blue jeans. But when you go to the store to buy blue jeans today, they're all distressed. And no mother in her right mind would have let her children out, even in play clothes that had rips in them.
The knees blown out.
Knees blown out, thighs blown out, really. So finding blue jeans was very difficult. The other thing is that the blue jeans would not have had lycra spandex in them. So finding fabrics that don't have lycra spandex is very challenging. Now, the next challenge is putting them on the children who are not used to anything that has stretch in it. So I had to explain to them that, yeah, it's not going to feel exactly the same. It's going to be a little bit scratchy. It's going to feel a little stiff, but it'll be fine. You'll get used to it. So the boys, the older boy, well, there's also double casting for Christian. I keep saying Christopher, Christian's part. So they are wearing the same clothes. They got the same shirts. They're wearing these jackets.
Oh, there. Yes, I see. And it's all coming.
So for a minute.
Sure.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, right?
Found this piece of fabric, the polyester knit, which was very
We have to
simple.
leave this meeting because
Made John a pair of trousers, and then I had to go and find him a shirt. That was challenging too, because today everybody's logo is spread all over the shirts, the pants, whatever. And in this case, I found this online and it didn't have any branding. So this will work very well. And he needs to have a jacket, but the only jackets I had were navy blue and it didn't really go with what he was wearing. So I found fabric upstairs in our soft goods department. And while it isn't the corduroy I would have loved to have, it looks like corduroy even from a close distance. So that works for me. And as you can, it's not quite finished yet. I have to do the top stitching and buttonholes and things like that.
Janet is a master of repurposing.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, it's less expensive. I'm very budget conscious. So I was able to do this for him and it fits him really well. And I was really excited. He was cute. He goes, well, how come it's not inside out like it's supposed to be? And I looked at,
We didn't have a conversation yet, Moses.
yeah. So then Claudia explained to me that when he wears it, he has it all tangled up and his mom helps him untangle it. And I said, all right. So I asked her, did you want me to line it? She goes, no.
Nuh-uh.
It's all good. It's all good.
Talk to us, please, about.
Oh, you want me to get that?
This done.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
please.
So in the show, there's a very upbeat number called Raincoat of Love. And it is based on the bubblegum bands of the early 70s, such as the Cowsills, Bay City Rollers, and the Partridge Family. And in the play, Allison finds her safe space in watching this show, which the Partridge Family show, which, you know, is about a family, but especially in times when mom and dad are having arguments or disagreements and the house is getting loud, she goes into her safe space in this rainbow world of hers. And the song has a lot of la la la's, like that music.
Everybody's in love, everything's fine.
Everything's
Everybody's
fine.
a happy family.
Yeah, it's all wonderful. So what I started out with was a suit for the Bobby Jeremy character, who is sort of like Bobby Sherman and David Cassidy rolled into one. And again, having lived in that time period, I kind of know who those characters are. So I had found online a suit that I thought would work until it came and I put it on Tyler, who is our Bobby Jeremy. And I was hoping that I could steam it and that would work.
No,
Or I thought that I
in the
could
world for
that,
that,
or
Jane.
take it in and that would work. But Claudia came out and we looked at each other and said, forget it, it's going back. So then I went upstairs and lo and behold, I found a lovely lavender suit in his size.
That fit him.
Which is like, okay, meant to be. And I had already done some research for the fabric for the girls' jumpers, because we decided to do jumpers for them and ruffly shirts. And it's actually based on a Turkish pattern that I had looked at different ones and I kept shooting them over to Claudia and she would go, yeah, little grandma, no, that's too small, it won't read. And so I said, okay, so I found this one. She goes, perfect. And what's even nicer about this, and I don't think I even shared this with you, Claudia, is that because it's a Turkish print, every yard of the fabric, 5% of the cost is being turned over to relief for the earthquake victims.
Oh my God.
Yes. So we're doing a little social justice while we're doing
While we're doing costumes.
while we're doing costumes. So for fun, so the girls are wearing very similar to what Susan Day would wear.
They're called
And
Susan Day.
they're Susan Days, and they get go-go boots. And if you want, I can take the go-go boots out.
Yeah, they look wicked cute, yeah.
Yeah, they look really cute.
Great. They're really cool.
And the girls really love them. Yeah, here we go.
Ooh.
They have go-go boots.
Those are fun.
They are fun.
What size are they?
These are, one pair is 8.5, the other is 8. No?
No.
Yeah, no, sorry. They weren't that expensive.
Well, yeah, and Janet just does a phenomenal job. Having worn Janet originals myself, I can say that
Janet Couture.
yeah, Janet Couture, she does a spectacular stuff.
So, oh, I'm sorry. So what we did with the Bobby Jeremy costume is I then made him a vest to match the girls. And one more thing. So it'll be very bright.
Yes, and
I just talked to James too, and he said he was going to add some lights that matched everything.
and just to brag on Janet one more
Okay.
time, she is our latest recipient of our Golden Elm Leaf Award,
Thank you very
which she was
much.
presented with last month at our membership meeting. It is to someone who has shown incredible just generosity and just what would their
Devotion to the
everything.
theater.
just dedicating themselves to the theater in every way, shape, and form. So
It was a huge honor and a total surprise. That was even so. Then I opened this. I have a.
oh,
I do. I opened the seam, the side seam, and added a vent that will flail out when he dances.
wow.
He also has shoes. Remember, I have it there. Straight pins.
And we are gonna be going to see this number in just a minute, so you can visualize these
Visualize all
costumes
these
on
crazy
the actors who will be
Yes,
singing and dancing
And
for you.
the other actors in the show are not getting costumed for that. They're just gonna be wearing their base costumes at that point. But Bobby Jeremy has platform shoes,
Those might be
which
my
he,
set.
which he has to. I don't think so.
No, we should make it.
No, I don't know. So yes, so he has to practice in these so he doesn't trip and fall on stage. That would be terrible.
Awesome.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions for Janet?
Sure. First, I need to say I'm a product of the 70s. You definitely caught the Partridge Family look. I'm like, oh my God, I'm hearing David Cassidy in my head. And my mom would have killed me if I had gone out with blue jeans that were not totally
Exactly
blue.
right.
You captured
Even the
that
hems, because, you know,
magnificently.
wear them longer and the hems would get ragged.
Yes. So here is my question. The question is, do actors get an input as to what costumes they wear?
Not usually.
Okay.
Sometimes I will ask someone if they have some specific needs, physiological needs, those kinds of things. Yes, I do ask if they have allergies to certain fabrics. Wool tends to be something that makes people itch, or they have, you know, an uncomfortable feeling when they're wearing wool. So I will try to circumnavigate that. I will also sometimes, if I have a choice between, you know, this outfit or this outfit, I might say to them, which one do you feel more aptly represents your character? And that's the only way. Otherwise, the costume designer makes the choice.
Got it.
I do confer with the directors, and sometimes we don't agree. They're the director, so they went out. So even, you know, if I like to put a disclaimer on the bottom of program saying that I really know that tie doesn't belong in this period, but the director really wanted it, you know, then I'll do that.
I love your bluntness. That's wonderful.
That's the way it is. You have to go with it.
The other question that I was asked is, have you always been a costume designer?
No, I'm an elementary school teacher by design. Yeah. I spent over 30 years in the classroom. So I always made my children's clothes, made their Halloween costumes. And when my daughter started dancing, the artistic director of the dance studio asked if I could sew and would consider doing costumes. And that's really how it started. And that's 45 years ago.
Wow. Well, your attention to detail is amazing. I'm personally very impressed. And those are
Yes.
Well, now we're gonna take them down to the studio so they can see.
Oh, get to see it. Oh, fabulous.
rehearsals in
Enjoy it.
progress.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can see the number that you're gonna
Yes,
be seeing.
you can.
They'll be wearing these costumes. So
All right.
we'll take you through. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take you backstage. We're gonna take you a different way to our lobby area. This is part of our renovation. It used to be super teeny tiny, about this wide. And we have our bathrooms, which used to be downstairs, are now on the theater level, which is amazing. But we have our studios downstairs. Good to see you again. Another rehearsal going on in that studio there. You can take a listen. Good drink. They know we're doing this. So this is our other studio. All right, everybody's ready? And this is rehearsal for Fun Home. This is everyone.
That's okay, but that might help you help her up and then boom, and then go to your next spot. If we need to change the next spot.
Do we want to introduce Kelsey
Yes,
first
yes,
to our
yes, yes.
viewing audience?
Hi, I'm Kelsey.
Yeah, this is Kelsey. She's the choreographer.
I'm the choreographer. Welcome.
Yeah, and they're actually in rehearsal right now. This is not set up for you guys. This is actually really happening tonight. So we said, can we totally come in and
Crash your
crash your rehearsal? So they
And the
said,
costume that
sure.
you just saw for Raincoat of Love, this is what these people will be wearing, when you see it, when you come to see the show. So shall we do it from the top? Do you have any more notes for them, Kelsey?
No, that was really good. This looks amazing, everyone.
I know,
Like,
people have been
thrilled.
practicing.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, let's try to get.
Yes, is somebody gonna pull that? It will be accessible probably more than anything.
Good enough.
It's good as a thing. April. Beautiful. Are we ready to do this again?
And that's when I knew. Made out of made out of when we're together, everything's alright. Everything's alright. Everything's alright.
Again with our other cast members, please, if we could.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you guys? We need to wait longer. Wait, so. Maybe one. I don't know if that.
It's fun.
Oh,
I can see you in the shoes, Tyler. You're sort of the show the shoes.
5-inch platforms. Get ready. I'm not gonna know what hit me.
It's like
It's fun, huh?
Are we ready one more time?
Yeah.
Sang out the way. Here we go.
The day I woke up with a feeling that I did not recognize. Happy lives far away and everything was made out of ice. The city was turning dark when baby I looked in your eyes. And that's when I knew. Protecting me from bad weather. Like a raincoat made out of love. Made out of love. Made out of love. When we're together, everything's alright. Everything's alright. Everything's.
Awesome. I'm now gonna ask everybody to take a 5 except for Medium and Allison and Helen. And we are gonna do another song called Days and Days, which is Helen's, the wife's song. So just give us a second here.
Oh, and yes, this is the who is the artist?
Sundays in the Park.
Sundays,
Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. I'm drawing a blank. This is the painting that they were talking about in the shop that took so long to complete.
Yes.
Beautiful. So we're gonna close out with a song from the show, and Moran Roberts is going to be singing it. It's called Days by Day.
Days and Days.
Days and Days. Sorry, I didn't want to
Yeah.
get that wrong. I did. Days and Days. And she plays Helene Bechtel, the mother
Helen
in Fun
Bechtel?
Home. I thought it was Helene.
Oh, Helen.
Isn't there an E at the end?
No.
No?
There isn't.
Typo. Helen Bechtel, who plays the mother in Fun Home. And did we want to say anything? Or just go into it?
No, this song kind of speaks for itself. And just so you're aware, in this play, there is adult Allison who wrote the book that Janet showed us upstairs. And this is the musical. Yeah, this is the musical based on that book that Allison Bechtel read. So this is supposed to be Allison Bechtel.
And your
And
name
this is Allison Bechtel when she was a college student, when she was like 18 years old. And then the two little ones that were just dancing in the number of Raincoat of Love, that's when she was a child. So you get to see her as she grows through the years and has her understanding of who her father is and who her father was, and why he did what he did at the end of our play. You'll understand that a little bit better, but I just wanted to make it clear, who are these women sitting in the living room and why is she singing to them? That is why. She's singing to her daughter, but Allison is also, this is a bit of a memory play, and so she's remembering these conversations that she had with her mother. So here we go, Days and Days, whenever you're ready, Moran. I just need the note in the beginning, because normally we have some background music. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Welcome to our house on Maple Avenue. See how we polish and we shine. We rearrange and realign. Everything is balanced and days. That's how it happens. Days and days and days. Made of lunches and car rides and shirts and socks and grades and piano, and no one clocks the day disappear. Days and days and days. That's how it happens. Days and days and days. Made of posing and bragging and fits of rage, and boys, like some of them underage, and father swept me off my feet with words. We read books, strolled through Munich at night, drank beer with friends, discussed the places we would go. And he said I understood how the world made him ache. But no, that's how it happens. Days made of bargains I made because I thought as a wife I was meant to, and now my life is shattered and laid bare. Days and days and days and days and days and days and days. Like don't you like me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
you wanna talk about why you are about this song?
Yeah, so many of you are familiar with Larry Gabbard, who was a very important part of our Elmwood family and a very dear friend of me and Claudia and Tony, our musical director, is the wonderful spouses, and Chad, the gentleman who plays the father in the show, was his best friend, best man at his wedding. So a lot of Larry connections here, and we are very excited to support the Larry Gabbard Scholarship Fund and Elmwood Playhouse, generally speaking. This is a particularly poignant connection because the person who introduced me to Fun Home and the role of Helen Bechtel was Larry. He was very particular in telling me at one point, "Do you know Fun Home?" And I of course I said no, because I don't know much about anything. And he said, you should learn the mother. There's a song, learn it. And as I always did, I always took his advice, and I did learn the song. And shortly before Larry left us, I was able to sing the song for him. And I am, without knowing at some point I would get to play the role. And so I think the fact that it's come full circle back to Elmwood, and Larry's the one who planted that little seed about the show and about the role and about the song.
So we're raising funds not
Yeah.
only for the scholarship fund, but also for our 6-piece orchestra. That is not an inexpensive thing, but I think that it's an important thing. And that's the one thing that's really kind of special about Elmwood, is that we are going to have strings on the set, and that doesn't happen in a lot of community theaters. And I'm really, really proud of that. But we're hoping that people will feel it in their hearts to donate to that fund as well, that he posted on Facebook today. So that's our little catch for the evening. But welcome back, my cast. Everybody, please stand in front of the Fun Home poster, please, so we can say goodbye to our friends.
Wanna bring B in?
Where's B?
Rob, wanna come down?
Yeah, there she is.
Rob coming down?
There's more coming. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know where Rob and.
Marissa, get in there. Can the guys in the back, can you hold the
And
poster
we just
up?
want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is really, really a fun experiment, and hopefully you learned a lot about our theater, and you'll visit www.elmwoodplayhouse.com.
Come see our show.
Come see the show.
I actually have two questions. What happens when an actor forgets their lines?
Yeah. Let's talk to Moses, he knows. Yeah. The show must go on. Just make up lines. Make up lines. Even if it's a fire alarm. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about the?
No, we've already experienced the fire alarm here. Is there a second question?
Is there another question?
And the other question was, how do you get the sincere emotions that were obvious in the performance, the little bit of the performance we saw?
I think it's always important when you're portraying a role to stay in the moment and really listen to what you are saying as well as what the other actors are conveying to you. You have to it's as real as you possibly can make it in the moment. So if you're reacting genuinely, the emotions are there.
Okay. I'm checking to see if there's more. Those are all the questions. I do want to sum this up. One anonymous person said, I can't wait to see the show, and that I had no idea how much work it took, and I'm appreciating it, all the work, and Elmwood even more. So that is what I'd like to leave you guys with. And I thank you so very, very much.
Thank you for the opportunity, Debbie.
It's been a wonderful experience. The only thing I'm going to say before we say goodbye is I have a gift to give away to a member of the audience. So if Ruth Genesaw is here, it may be hard to see. No, Ruth doesn't look like she's here, but Thomas O'Brien. Okay. I don't see either of them, so I guess I get to pick. Let's go for the middle of the alphabet. Kathleen McCarthy Simpson, you have won a $30 gift certificate to Yard House, and you will be able to get it by sending your address to rocklandarts@gmail.com. And then for my final piece, please go to rocklandartsfestival.org and sign up for our next wonderful event. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and this has been wonderful.